2024 so far has been a massive year for Georgia in terms of sports and politics, with a lots of upsides and drawbacks. Despite the big achievements that we've made in sports, it has also been a politically unstable year for Georgia. Let's start off with the positives of this year. This has been the first time in Georgia's history to successfully make it into European Championship via beating Greece. 2024 has been a memorable year for Georgia in terms of sports, with first Ilia Topuria, a Spanish-Georgian martial artist born in Germany, becoming the UFC champion, and later this year Merab Dvalishvili also becoming the UFC champion. About the football, we've had our upsides and downsides too. It is sad that we lost against Turkey by 1-3, we were also very close to winning against Czechia by getting the second goal, but we only ended up with a tie with Czechia instead by 1-1, however, we've won against Portugal and defeated the very famous footballer that we once took a picture with as kids by 2-0, there were a lot of people in Georgia cheering and celebrating the win against Portugal. We were unfortunately defeated by a stronger team such as Spain. Despite the loss, we still played a good game and we've made a lot of memories in 2024, we were all united by the love of football and sports, we ended up being in the top 16 as well. I would also like to add something about 2024's Eurovision. We unfortunately placed 21st in 2024's Eurovision, which may be a low rank, but failing to qualify is even worse. We somehow ended up winning Eurovision Junior 2024 though. Now with that aside, let's talk about football again. It's not European Championship this time, but League of Nations. We've had one football match with Czechia in League of Nations and we've won by 4-1. We've had another match but with Albania and we've won again, although by 1-0. We've also had a match with Ukraine but unfortunately we lost. We've had second matches with Czechia and Albania and this time we unfortunately lost. Second match with Ukraine just ended up with a tie. Despite its ups and downs, it was still a big year for us. Our boys played really well. Kvaratskhelia, Mamardashvili and Mikhailidze are our successful, famous, and iconic footballers now. Let's move on from sports and talk about politics now. This year has been chaotic in terms of politics of Georgia. 2024 simply started with Irakli Garibashvili being replaced by Irakli Kobakaj. It became more chaotic the second when the current ruling party since 2012, Georgian Dream, brought a controversial law that they promised in 2023 to not bring, which caused a lot of protests and is deemed as a Russian law by the opposition. An opposition leader Ailko Elizashvili also punched a Georgian Dream MP Mamakom Dinaradze. The protests have gained more attention from the world, with different sides having different points of views. One side that is deemed as pro-Russian was supportive of the law and claimed that it resembled a similar law that US had accepted in the 1930s. Pro-Western side on the other hand was opposed to it and claimed that it was more similar to the one in Russia brought in 2012. Protests had stopped for now in the summer of 2024, but began to escalate further after the October 2024 election, and Kobakaj's speech in November 2024. Lots of people have protested that the elections were rigged and unfair. Some of them weren't surprised. Since then, the elections were not recognized by the opposition. Lots of Georgians, the fifth president, some European countries and the US. Russia and countries deemed as pro-Russian were quite supportive though, and even congratulated Georgian Dream for winning the elections for the fourth time. There was one person who splashed black ink at the chairman of CSKA Georgi Kalendarishvili in November for rigging the October elections though. Kobakaj's speech to postpone negotiations with the EU up to 2028 sparked protests even further. Lots of people have protested rigged elections. Lots of people have protested what they didn't like. Lots of people have protested against Georgian Dream's anti-EU policy. Lots of protesters were beaten up by Robocops. It has been a bloody year so far. We've also ended up with another president, and that is a former footballer Mikhail Kavlashvili. He was nominated in November and he is often criticized for lacking a diploma and education. He got rejected from being the president of Football Federation but got accepted as the sixth president by Georgian Dream's founder Bidzina Ivanishvili for having a great habitus. He is also known for swearing a lot. However, he isn't recognized as the legitimate president by Europe, the US, the opposition and by lots of Georgians who protest against Georgian Dream. Georgian Dream, Russia, pro-Russian countries and supporters of Georgian Dream say otherwise. Countries such as Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Turkey also congratulated Mikhail for winning the presidential election, as well as Belarus and Hungary's president. This is the first time a president is elected by electoral college and not by direct popular vote, by the way, meaning that this is the first time a president is elected by MPs and parliamentarians instead of people. Overall, it has been a heavy year for Georgia in terms of politics. Opposition criticizing Georgian Dream for being way too close to Russia, while Georgian Dream criticizing the opposition for trying to destabilize and Ukrainize Georgia. To sum it all up, it has been quite a big year for Georgian in terms of sports and a drastic year in terms of politics, probably one of the most politically chaotic years in Georgia's modern history, along with 1990s, 2003 to 2004, 2007 if not the most.